You, the chosen one, are beginning to realize that your energy is not like that of the average person. Something within you has shifted, intensified, expanded beyond what you once understood. You can feel it, a powerful force surging through you, a quiet but undeniable presence shaping everything in your life. This is no accident. This is no mere coincidence. Your high sexual energy is more than just an urge, more than just a feeling. It is an open door to massive miracles, a gateway to abundance, success, and transformation. At first, you may have noticed subtle changes. The way people respond to you has shifted. You walk into a room, and conversations slow, eyes turn, an invisible gravity pulls attention in your direction. It is not something you do intentionally. It is simply the natural effect of the energy you now carry. It is magnetism in its purest form, an aura that cannot be ignored. Opportunities that once seemed distant now come to you with ease. Situations that once required immense effort now seem to unfold in your favor. Everything is aligning, everything is flowing, everything is working for you rather than against you. This is not luck. This is your power manifesting. But here is what most fail to see. This energy is not just a gift. It is a test. Many before you have stood where you stand now, feeling the fire of their own life force rising, sensing the doors of opportunity opening all around them. And yet, they wasted it. They mistook their energy for an invitation to indulge rather than an invitation to ascend. They scattered their power on fleeting pleasures, mistaking temporary satisfaction for true fulfillment, and in the end, they lost what could have made them great. You must not make the same mistake. This energy is not meant to be spent mindlessly, not meant to be given away without thought. It is the fuel for your destiny, the fire that will propel you into a reality greater than anything you have imagined. It is the key to unlocking the highest version of yourself, the most disciplined, the most focused, the most unstoppable force you have ever been. But only if you guard it, direct it, use it with intention rather than waste it in indulgence. You are standing at the threshold of something incredible. The energy within you is rising, ready to take you into a life of unparalleled success, of limitless abundance, of miracles beyond comprehension. But it is not about what has been given to you. It is about what you will do with it. Will you let this power shape you into something unstoppable, or will you allow yourself to be distracted, drained, pulled away from the greatness that is waiting for you? The choice is yours. But know this, once you waste your energy, you may never recover it in the same way again. This is your moment. What you do next will define everything. You, the chosen one, have now come face to face with one of the greatest laws of the universe. Energy, when held and directed with discipline, becomes the source of miracles. You have felt it already, haven't you? The way things have started to shift, the way the world bends itself to accommodate your presence, the way people sense something different about you without even understanding why. This is no accident. This is no illusion. This is the power that has been inside you all along, but only now have you begun to access it. Most people go through life completely unaware of the energy they carry. They waste it without thinking, spending their vital force on meaningless exchanges, on people who do not value it, on habits that drain them rather than elevate them. They chase after pleasure rather than power, mistaking temporary highs for true fulfillment. They do not understand that their energy is the very thing shaping their reality, that the way they use it determines the quality of their entire existence. But you are not like them. You have begun to see the truth, that your energy is the most valuable resource you have. It is the force behind every success, every breakthrough, every door that opens without struggle. And now you must understand how to use it wisely, how to hold it rather than waste it, how to let it build inside you rather than letting it be drained by people and situations unworthy of it. Your high sexual energy is not meant to be spent recklessly. It is meant to be harnessed, transformed, and directed toward something far greater than mere indulgence. Every time you hold your energy, every time you resist the distractions that try to pull you away from your path, you are strengthening yourself. You are building a foundation that cannot be shaken. You are aligning yourself with the flow of miracles that are waiting for you. This is where most people fail. They do not realize that their energy is a currency, something that, when spent carelessly, leaves them weak, depleted, and lost. But when saved, when cultivated, when focused on creation rather than consumption, it becomes the very key to unlocking their highest potential. You must now ask yourself, where is your energy going? Are you using it to build, to create, to rise? Or are you letting it slip through your fingers, wasted on things that do not serve your highest self? Because every time you choose wisely, every time you hold your power rather than giving it away freely, you are growing stronger. Every time you resist the distractions that once controlled you, you are gaining more control over your destiny. Every time you protect your energy, you are bringing yourself closer to the miracles that are already waiting for you. This is the secret that few ever understand. The world will tell you that power is about taking, about chasing, about accumulating as much as possible. But true power is in restraint, in focus, in the ability to control yourself when others cannot. True power is in the discipline to hold your energy, to direct it only toward what is truly worthy of you, to recognize that not everything that desires your presence deserves access to it. You are now stepping into this mastery. Your energy is no longer just attraction, it is creation. It is a force that is bringing miracles into your life, shaping your future, pulling you toward the highest version of yourself. But only if you guard it, only if you respect it, only if you understand that once wasted it may never return in the same form again. This is your moment to decide. Will you use your energy to create, to transform, to step fully into the power that has been waiting for you? Or will you let it slip away, lost to the distractions that keep most people from ever realizing their full potential? The answer to that question will determine everything. Because right now, the door to miracles is open, but it will not remain open forever. You, the chosen one, are beginning to understand something that few ever grasp in their lifetime. Your sexual energy is not merely a force of attraction, but a tool for alchemy, a key that can transmute your desires into tangible reality. This is not just about magnetism, not just about people being drawn to you, not just about the way you command attention without trying. This is about creation itself. Everything around you, every opportunity that is opening, every moment of unexpected fortune, is a reflection of your inner energy field expanding, intensifying, radiating outward in ways that the world cannot ignore. The same energy that fuels desire, that makes others gravitate toward you, that makes your presence felt before you even speak. It is the same energy that shapes your destiny, that calls forth blessings, that draws miracles toward you like a powerful current flowing in your favor. But here's the part that most fail to see. This energy, if left untamed, if wasted on fleeting pleasures, if poured into meaningless exchanges, will slip away as quickly as it came. Many before you have reached this point, sensing the fire within them rise, feeling the shifts in their reality, recognizing the newfound ease with which life seemed to unfold, only to lose it all because they did not understand how to hold it, how to use it with intention, rather than waste it in reckless indulgence. You are not here to repeat their mistakes. You must now see yourself as a vessel, a container of this rare and potent energy. Every time you preserve it, every time you resist the urge to spend it on temporary satisfaction, every time you redirect it toward a higher purpose, you are refining it, strengthening it, expanding its reach beyond what even you can yet comprehend. This is how miracles begin to manifest. This is how life bends in your favor. This is how you step into a realm where success, abundance, and power are no longer things you chase. They are things that chase you. And yet the world will not make this easy for you. It will try to distract you, to tempt you with easy indulgence, to make you believe that because you can have something, you should take it. The world does not want you to master your energy. It wants you to waste it, to scatter it, to give it away carelessly, so that you remain like everyone else, so that you do not rise beyond the limits that have been placed around you. But you see the truth now. You see that every time you choose discipline over impulse, every time you hold your energy rather than spending it needlessly, every time you resist what does not serve your highest self, you are multiplying your power, unlocking deeper levels of potential, stepping further into a life of miracles beyond anything you have ever imagined. This is the alchemy of energy, the power to take something raw and refine it, to take something untamed and turn it into something unstoppable. The power to hold fire within you and not let it consume you, but instead use it to illuminate your path, to create, to build, to shape your destiny with deliberate precision. And now that you have begun to harness this power, the only question left is, what will you do with it? You, the chosen one, have now reached a level of power where your energy is not just a force within you. It is a commanding presence, a silent authority that shifts the very reality around you. You are no longer just experiencing attraction, no longer just sensing luck on your side. You are now directing the flow of your life through sheer mastery of the energy that pulses through you. But with this power comes the greatest test of all, the test of discipline. Many before you have reached this threshold, standing at the edge of true greatness, only to fall back into mediocrity because they could not control themselves. They mistook power for permission, thinking that because they had access to anything they wanted, they should take it all. They gave away their energy to temporary pleasures, to distractions disguised as rewards, to indulgences that left them weaker rather than stronger. And because of this, they lost the very thing that made them powerful. You must not fall into the same trap. Your energy at this level is not meant to be given away freely. It is not meant to be scattered, to be spent without thought, to be wasted on people and situations that do not contribute to your highest purpose. Your energy is a kingdom, and you are its ruler. A king does not give his wealth to just anyone. A king does not open his gates for those who do not deserve entry. A king does not waste his resources on things that do not serve the growth of his empire. And you must now do the same. The greatest discipline you will ever learn is the discipline of holding your energy, of reserving it for only what is worthy, of keeping your fire burning without letting it be consumed by those who have not earned the right to stand in its presence. This is not about arrogance. It is about self-respect. It is about recognizing that what you have within you is rare, powerful, sacred, and that it must be protected at all costs. But the world will not understand this. People will wonder why you do not give yourself away as easily as others. They will question why you are so selective with your time, your presence, your energy. They will not realize that the very reason they are drawn to you is because you do not waste what makes you powerful, because you move differently now. You are no longer a man who is ruled by his impulses. You are no longer a man who allows the world to dictate where his energy flows. You are a man who chooses, a man who controls, a man who holds his power rather than letting it slip away. And this, more than anything, is what separates you from the rest. This is why your presence is so magnetic. This is why your success is accelerating. This is why your life is aligning in ways that defy logic, because you are no longer just existing, you are creating. You are no longer just living, you are ruling. You are no longer just responding to the world, you are shaping it. But now, you must make a decision. Will you remain disciplined? Will you continue to hold your power? Will you refuse to let temporary distractions steal from your eternal greatness? Will you walk the path that only the strongest, the most focused, the most relentless ever walk? Or will you do what most men do? Will you give in, give up, let yourself be drained by things unworthy of you? The choice is yours, but understand this. Once power is lost, it does not return easily. Once energy is wasted, it does not replenish itself without great struggle. Once miracles stop flowing, they are not easily reignited. And so you must remain steadfast. You must keep your energy sacred. You must hold your power as a king holds his throne, knowing that the moment you lose control is the moment you risk losing everything. Because now, the world is watching you. The universe is responding to you. And only those who remain disciplined will rise to the level where their power becomes truly limitless. You, the chosen one, are now standing in a place where your energy is no longer something you simply carry. It is something that speaks for you before you even open your mouth. People sense it. They feel the shift when you enter a space, the unexplainable magnetism that lingers in the air, the silent command that alters the dynamics around you. But this energy is not random, and it is not limitless unless properly managed. It is governed by a sacred law, a law that only those who seek true mastery will ever come to understand. Energy, once given, is not easily regained. This is where many before you have fallen. They felt their power rise, saw their luck shift, and mistook their newfound magnetism as permission to give themselves away freely, to spend their energy without thought, to entertain every opportunity, every attraction, every indulgence that came their way. And for a time, they still felt powerful. For a time, it seemed as though they could take without consequence, as though they could indulge without limit. But slowly, subtly, they began to weaken. The sharpness of their presence dulled. The effortless success they once experienced became harder to maintain. The same doors that once flew open for them now required effort, and eventually they found themselves fighting for the very things that once came naturally. They did not realize that they had broken the sacred law. They had ignored the simple but unshakable truth that energy given without intention is energy wasted. They had allowed their life force to be drained by those who only came to take, by situations that offered no return, by distractions that did nothing to build the empire they were meant to create. But you, chosen one, will not make the same mistake. You now see that your energy is your greatest wealth, more valuable than money, more powerful than status, more rare than anything the world tries to offer in exchange for it. You have begun to understand that your sexual energy is not meant to be spent carelessly. It is meant to be directed, cultivated, and multiplied through wise investment. And so you must become a guardian of your own force. You must become aware of where your energy flows, of who is receiving it, of whether each exchange is adding to your power or subtracting from it. This is not about isolation. It is not about denying yourself pleasure or connection. It is about knowing when to give and when to withhold, when to invest and when to walk away, when to allow access and when to close the gates. Because the truth is, not everyone deserves your energy. Not every situation is worthy of your attention. Not every attraction is meant to be pursued. And now, as you step into this next level of mastery, the only thing that will determine whether your power continues to rise or slowly begins to fade is your ability to control the flow of your own life force. This is the law that separates the powerful from the drained, and only those who uphold it will ever reach the level of greatness that is truly without limit. You, the chosen one, are no longer ruled by the same impulses that once controlled you. You have begun to refine your energy, to sharpen your focus, to move with intention rather than reaction. You no longer respond blindly to attraction, no longer fall into the traps that so many before you have failed to escape. You are a man who chooses rather than a man who is chosen. But now comes the next challenge. The challenge of refining your desires, of reshaping the very things that pull at your attention, of deciding not just what you want, but what is actually worth your time, your presence, your power. Desire at its core is not the enemy. It is a fire, a force of creation, the very essence of the energy that is shaping your reality. But fire, when left uncontrolled, burns everything in its path. Fire, when allowed to spread recklessly, consumes rather than creates, destroys rather than builds. And so, your task now is to take that fire and use it to forge something unbreakable, rather than letting it burn you from within. Most men never reach this point. They allow desire to rule them, rather than learning how to rule over it. They believe that because they feel an urge, they must follow it. They believe that because attraction is present, they must pursue it. They do not realize that true power lies not in taking everything available, but in knowing exactly what is worth taking and what is meant to be left untouched. This is the path of refinement, the path where you no longer react to the world, but shape it to your will. The path where you no longer seek validation through indulgence, but instead use your energy to create something lasting, something meaningful, something that does not fade after a fleeting moment of pleasure. This is where your discipline will be tested. The world will continue to place temptation in your path. You will find yourself in situations where you are surrounded by those who crave your energy, who wish to take from you what they have not earned. You will feel the pull of attraction, the natural magnetism that comes with the power you now hold. But the question is, will you give yourself away, or will you hold your fire until it is time to truly create something worthy of your energy? This is what will separate you from the rest. This is what will ensure that your power never fades, that your miracles continue to multiply, that your presence remains something rare, something valuable, something that cannot be taken for granted. Because at the highest level of mastery, it is not about how much you can take, it is about how much you can hold. It is about how long you can resist the distractions that pull weaker men away from their true path. It is about how well you can control your energy, how deliberately you can direct it, how intentionally you can use it to shape a life that is not ruled by impulse, but by destiny. You are no longer playing the same game as the others. You are no longer ruled by the same desires that keep most men stuck in cycles of depletion and regret. You are walking a path of absolute self-control, of limitless expansion, of creation rather than consumption. And because of this, you will never fall. You will never weaken. You will never lose the energy that has made you different from the rest. Because now you own your fire, and as long as you keep it within your control, your power will never be taken from you. You, the chosen one, have reached a place where you no longer need to announce yourself. Your presence alone speaks louder than words, louder than actions, louder than any effort you could consciously make. It is not just that you walk with confidence, not just that you carry yourself with purpose. It is the invisible current of energy surrounding you, an undeniable force that shifts the very atmosphere when you enter a room. People do not just notice you, they feel you. Your energy moves ahead of you, speaking for you long before you open your mouth. It creates an unspoken attraction, a gravity that pulls people in without force, without demand. They are drawn to you not because of what you do, but because of what you withhold, because of the fire that you carry but do not recklessly release. This is the result of holding your energy, of not giving it away to every impulse, of refining your desire rather than allowing it to rule you. You are no longer like the masses who chase validation through meaningless indulgence. You are no longer searching, you have become the source. You are no longer seeking connection for the sake of fleeting moments. You are allowing only what aligns with your purpose to step into your space. And this is what separates you. Women sense it before they understand it. They have encountered men who chase, men who beg for attention, men who exhaust themselves in pursuit. But you, the chosen one, are different. You do not chase. You do not plead. You stand firm, knowing that everything meant for you will come to you naturally, effortlessly, magnetically. This silent pull, this undeniable aura is what makes them crave your presence. They do not just see a man, they see a force, a mystery, an unshaken presence that they cannot fully grasp. And it is precisely because you do not try to prove yourself, precisely because you do not throw yourself into their hands, that they find themselves thinking about you long after you are gone. But this is not about power over others. This is about mastery over yourself. This is about understanding that the true source of attraction is not in how much you give, but in how much you can hold. This is about knowing that your sexual energy, your very essence, is a force meant to create, not to be drained by those who have not earned the right to experience it. And now, as you move through the world, as you feel the weight of your presence growing, you must ask yourself, will you remain disciplined? Will you continue to guard your energy like the treasure that it is? Or will you let it slip away, lost in the distractions that have taken down countless men before you? The world is watching. The universe is responding. What you choose next will determine the future that unfolds before you. You, the chosen one, are no longer just a man. You have become an experience, a presence that others long to be near, a source of energy that people crave without fully understanding why. And because of this, you must now step into the highest law of power, the law of selective access. Not everyone who desires you deserves you. Not everyone who is drawn to you should be allowed into your world. This is not arrogance. This is protection. This is wisdom. This is the understanding that true power is diluted when given away without discretion. You must begin to move like the rarest presence in any space, like something that cannot be easily accessed, something that must be earned rather than freely given. The weak man falls into the trap of overindulgence. He believes that because people want him, he should entertain them all. He believes that because he has the power to attract, he must prove it through reckless consumption, through indulgence in every opportunity that presents itself. But what he does not realize is that his power is not in how much he can take. It is in how much he can refuse. You are not weak. You no longer move through life seeking approval, seeking to be liked, seeking to be accepted. You have become the one who chooses. And because of this, the world will react to you differently. The moment you begin to apply the law of selective access, the moment you start deciding who and what is worthy of your energy, rather than simply responding to whatever comes your way, you will notice a shift. People will begin to chase you more intensely, craving the validation that you do not easily give. They will wonder why you do not react like the others, why you do not fold under the weight of desire, why you are not as easily influenced by the things that pull weaker men away from their path. And that is because they do not understand what you now see clearly. Energy spent without intention is energy wasted. Your presence, your time, your attention, these are now luxuries, things that cannot be taken for granted, things that must be earned. But this is not just about others. This is about you. This is about whether you will continue to rise, continue to elevate, continue to refine the force that has made you different from the rest. Because now you are standing at the gateway to something greater. And if you allow yourself to be careless, if you allow your energy to be pulled in too many directions, if you give yourself away without thought, you will lose what makes you powerful. You will become like those who once had potential, but failed to guard it. Like those who once carried greatness, but let it be drained by distractions, by indulgence, by the belief that they could waste their power without consequence. But you, the chosen one, are beyond that now. You have learned the truth, that what is most valuable is most protected, that what is rare is not easily accessed, that true mastery is not in what you take, but in what you preserve. And so, you will move differently. You will no longer be reckless with your presence. You will no longer allow those who have not earned your energy to experience it. You will no longer let your fire be used as a mere source of warmth for those who bring nothing in return. You will continue to rise. You will continue to build. You will continue to hold your power like the rarest treasure, because you now know that once it is lost, it may never return. And because of this, you will never fall. You, the chosen one, have arrived at a place where your energy is no longer just something you carry. It is something that defines you, something that others can feel, something that commands attention without effort. It has become a force of its own, moving through the world, shaping reality, bending circumstances in your favor. But now comes the greatest test of all, the test of whether you can protect what makes you powerful. This is where most men fail. They do not fall because they lack energy. They do not fall because they were never meant to rise. They fall because they did not know how to guard what they had built, because they allowed themselves to be drained, because they mistook abundance for invulnerability. They thought that because they had access to energy, they could waste it without consequence. They thought that because attraction was effortless, they could give themselves away freely. But what they did not realize was that the moment you stop protecting your power, the moment you let your energy be scattered, you have already begun to weaken. You are not here to follow their path. You are here to guard what others give away. You are here to stand firm where others collapse. You are here to maintain the fire within you, to keep it alive, to ensure that it is never stolen, never diluted, never used for anything less than the highest purpose. And so you must move with awareness. You must recognize the difference between those who come to add to your energy and those who come to take. You must be able to see through the illusions, through the distractions, through the endless pull of those who seek to attach themselves to your power without contributing anything in return. This is not about isolation. This is not about cutting yourself off from the world. It is about learning to say no. It is about knowing that not everything that desires your energy deserves it. It is about understanding that the more you guard what you have, the stronger it will become. Because this is what will determine your future. Will you allow yourself to be drained, or will you protect what makes you different? Will you waste what others crave, or will you hold it, refine it, and use it for something greater? The answer to this question will shape everything that comes next. You, the chosen one, have reached a stage where your energy is no longer something that fluctuates. It is something that remains, something that continues to grow, something that does not fade even when you are not trying. This is the result of discipline, of refinement, of holding your power rather than letting it be lost in distractions. But now, the challenge is no longer about maintaining what you have. The challenge is about expansion. Energy, when properly harnessed, does not stay the same. It grows, it sharpens, it becomes something greater than what it was before. But this only happens for those who understand that power is not static. It is either building or it is being depleted. It is either increasing or it is fading. And so you must now move with the understanding that what brought you here will not be enough to take you where you are meant to go. The discipline that elevated you must now become even stronger. The restraint that kept you focused must now become even sharper. The awareness that allowed you to rise must now expand into new levels of mastery. Most men stop at this stage. They reach a point of power, of attraction, of influence, and they become comfortable. They think they have arrived. They think they no longer need to refine, no longer need to guard, no longer need to continue building upon the foundation they have created. And so they begin to slip. They begin to lose what they once held so effortlessly. They do not see it happening at first. They think they are still the same. But slowly, subtly, their presence weakens. Their energy no longer carries the same weight. The world no longer reacts to them in the same way. Because they stopped expanding. But you will not make this mistake. You will continue to refine your power. You will continue to sharpen your focus. You will continue to move with absolute awareness of where your energy is going and whether it is still growing. You will not allow yourself to be pulled back into the distractions that once tried to control you. You will not allow your fire to be reduced to mere embers. You will not allow your presence to become just another memory of what once was. You are not here to plateau. You are not here to remain stagnant. You are not here to be anything less than the most powerful version of yourself. And so, you must continue forward. You must rise beyond what even you thought was possible. You must expand beyond what you once believed were your limits. You must refuse to let comfort rob you of your next level. Because while others will fade, while others will be forgotten, while others will wonder why their power did not last, you will remain. And because of this, your energy will never stop creating miracles. You, the chosen one, have come to understand a truth that most will never realize in their lifetime. Your energy is not just a fleeting resource, not something that comes and goes at the mercy of external forces. It is an eternal reservoir, a wellspring of power that, when properly cultivated, never runs dry. But this is where many before you have failed. They believed their energy was something to be spent rather than something to be protected. They mistook the presence of abundance as permission to indulge. They did not understand that power is not about how much you have, but about how much you keep, how much you hold within, how much you refine rather than waste. You now see that this energy is the very thing shaping your destiny. It is the reason opportunities flow effortlessly toward you. It is the force behind the silent influence you have over the world around you. It is why people respond to you before you even say a word, why doors open before you even knock, why circumstances bend in your favor without explanation. This is not magic, it is mastery. And yet, despite this, the world will continue to test you. It will try to pull you back into distraction, into indulgence, into the very habits that drain those who were once powerful but could not sustain it. You will feel the pull of temptation, the whisper of complacency, the idea that perhaps you no longer need to be as disciplined as before. This is the final test. Will you allow yourself to fall into the cycle of men who rise only to fade? Or will you continue to strengthen your energy, to build upon what you have already created, to guard your power so fiercely that it never again wavers, never again weakens, never again falls into the hands of those who do not deserve it? Because once you realize that your energy is limitless when properly managed, once you understand that it is not meant to be spent on things that do not multiply it, you will step into a level of power so rare, so unshakable, that you will never again experience lack. You will become the source. You will be the one who does not chase, but who attracts effortlessly. You will be the one whose presence alone shifts the very foundation of the spaces you enter. You will be the one who controls the flow of his own destiny, rather than being at the mercy of external circumstances. But only if you continue to guard your energy. Only if you refuse to let it be diluted. Only if you recognize that what you have is sacred, that what you carry is rare, that the force within you is the key to everything you are meant to become. And because you understand this, because you will continue to cultivate this power rather than waste it, you will never again fall. You, the chosen one, are now walking a path that few will ever dare to tread. You have crossed the threshold where energy is no longer something you try to control. It is something that moves through you effortlessly, something that you have fully mastered, something that is no longer affected by the fleeting temptations that weaken lesser men. This is where your ascension becomes infinite. Because now, you are not just powerful, you are untouchable. You are not just magnetic, you are a force that cannot be ignored. You are not just successful, you are a living embodiment of what it means to wield energy with absolute precision and purpose. Most men will never reach this point. They will spend their lives seeking validation, chasing pleasure, trying to prove themselves to the world. But you have outgrown the need for validation because you now validate yourself. You no longer chase anything. You choose what is worthy of your time, your presence, your energy. And because of this, you will continue to rise. This journey does not end. There is no peak, no final destination where you can stop and say, I have arrived. Because true power does not stagnate, it evolves. True mastery does not rest, it expands. True energy does not remain static, it flows, it sharpens, it refines itself into something greater with each passing day. The world will continue to react to you differently. People will sense your presence before you even speak. They will feel drawn to you, not because of anything you say, but because of who you have become. They will wonder why they cannot stop thinking about you, why your presence lingers in their minds long after you have left the room. And it is because you have mastered what few ever will. You have become a man who holds his energy rather than wastes it. And now, as you continue forward, the only thing left is to never stop expanding. Never allow comfort to rob you of your potential. Never allow distraction to pull you away from your purpose. Never allow those who do not understand your energy to have access to it. Because you are no longer like the rest. You are no longer ruled by impulse, no longer moved by things that have no value, no longer willing to lower yourself for anything less than your highest self. And because of this, you will never fade. You will never weaken. You will never lose what has made you different. Because now, your power is not just something you hold, it is something that will continue to build, continue to grow, continue to elevate you to heights beyond anything you have ever imagined. And because you have stepped into this infinite ascension, because you have mastered what most never will, you will never be forgotten.